She's not rejecting you, she's rejecting your power. You think she pulled away because you were not sufficient, or because you stated the incorrect factor, but that's no longer it. She felt something off, something weak, something that failed to make her feel secure or curious or pulled in. And that something became your power. The manner you walked up to her, the way you spoke, the way you asked the ones empty questions like you were hoping she'd bring the instant for you. Women do not reject guys because of their looks. They reject guys due to the fact they are able to experience when a man is uncertain of himself. And in this video, I am going to reveal you the hidden psychology behind why most men lose women before the first sentence is even finished, and how to turn that strength into something magnetic, effective, and unforgettable. Hermits begin. Why questions kill attraction. Every time you ask a woman things like, "How are you? What do you do? Wherein are you from?" you observed you're being respectful, pleasant, or polite. But to her, it feels boring, cold, fundamental. Now, not due to the fact the questions are impolite, however, because they do not bring any electricity. She's heard the ones identical questions from dozens of fellows earlier then, and each considered one of them came with the identical vulnerable strength, frightened, unsure, and hoping she'll make the instant exciting. It is the real trouble. You are putting her in rate of wearing the communique. You're making her do all the emotional work, and without knowing it, you are sending her this message. I do not have whatever exciting to offer, so I'm hoping you'll give me something to work with. Now, imagine how that feels for her. Maximum stunning ladies get approached all of the time. They recognize the patterns. They can feel when a man is leading with self-assurance, and while a person is simply trying to live on the interplay. Whilst you start with questions, she feels like she's being interviewed, now not seduced, not invited into your world, no longer emotionally pulled right into a moment. And while that takes place, she exams out. Here's the fact maximum men do not know. Girls don't need any other man who acts like he is asking for permission to exist. They need a man who is already standing in his personal world. A man who is aware of who he's. A person who brings strength, direction, and depth into the space with no need whatever from her. That's what attraction virtually responds to. So, when you begin a communique hoping she'll come up with something, you've got already misplaced the electricity. The key is not inside the questions. The secret's within the vibe you create the instant you open your mouth. Due to the fact, if there may be no spark on your presence, there may not be one in her mind both. What she's actually scanning, you would possibly think she's paying attention to your phrases cautiously, but it really is now not what is absolutely going on. She's no longer focused on what you are announcing. She's looking the way you say it. She's looking your frame language, your tone, your eyes, your strength. She's scanning your self-belief. She's asking herself, even if she would not recognize it, does this guy stand sturdy? Or will he fold the second one? I disagree with him. Is he at ease in himself? Or is he just attempting to impress me to sense ordinary? You'll be seeking to be excellent or polite, but in case your energy says, I need you to love me, she can feel it immediately, and it'll flip her off just as speedy. Right here's the truth. She's no longer handsome for an ideal man. She's handsome for a man who leads the moment emotionally. A man who walks in along with his own calm self-assurance. A person who brings electricity rather than chasing hers. Whilst you begin asking vulnerable questions like, what do you do? Where are you from? She would not pay attention interest. She hears worry. She hears a person who's hoping she'll manual the verbal exchange due to the fact he would not recognize the way to. And the instant she senses that, she disconnects, not out of cruelty, however instinct. Her brain is stressed out to feel safe and drawn to management strength. Not controlling electricity, no longer fake confidence. but a person who stands firm in his own presence, calm, grounded, unshaken. Ladies are greater emotionally aware than maximum guys recognize. They choose up on strength faster than common sense. And while a man feels fearful, needy, or uncertain, they experience it in seconds. And their preference fades without caution. So don't forget, it is no longer approximately the phrases. It is about the vibe in the back of the phrases. It is about the power behind your presence. And in case you show up hoping she leads, she walks away. But if you show up already main your personal space, she'll want to be part of it. The shift that modifications the whole thing. So, what's the answer? It is simple but effective. Prevent asking. Begin declaring. Maximum guys open with a query because they do not know what else to mention. They suppose asking something will preserve the communication going. However, what they don't realize is questions often show frightened energy. They make it seem like you're unsure of yourself, like you need her to take the lead, and that kills appeal fast. The restoration. Start with an announcement, not a question. Say something real, something that suggests who you are, something that pulls her into your global. Allow me provide you with a clear example. Weak opener, how are you? Sturdy opener, I love this area. It has that calm after the typhoon vibe. Feels just like the sort of place where time slows down. See the shift. One is empty and basic. The alternative paints an image. It sets a temper. It offers her something emotional to respond to. Only after that, you could comply with what do you think of the music? Now, you're no longer simply asking for her opinion. You're inviting her right into an area you already created. A space that already has feeling, energy, direction. Right, here's the reality. Most guys do not know. Ladies don't need to lead the instant. They need to sense something. And while you create and surroundings with your phrases, your tone, your calm, you come to be the supply of that feeling. That is when she starts off-evolved to lean in. It truly is whilst she starts off-evolved to pay attention. Now, not simply in your words, however, in your presence. Due to the fact now, you are now not begging for her attention. You're keeping your very own. And that quiet energy is rare, so do not forget, you don't need to impress her with the suitable question. You just need to speak out of your middle. Deliver her something real to feel and allow her step into your world, not pull you into hers. The way to handle disagreement like a man. Let's assume you walk up to a woman, you begin a great conversation, you feel like the power is proper. Then she says something like, I don't actually like this location. Now, this is the moment that separates boys from guys. What does the common man do? He panics. He wants to stay in her proper books. So, he fast is of the same opinion. Yeah, I wager it's no longer that exceptional. Why does he try this? Due to the fact deep down he is scared of disagreement. He thinks if I don't consider her, maybe she might not like me. So, he gives up his opinion to please her. But here's the problem. When you agree just to avoid anxiety, she feels it. She knows you're bending yourself to be favored. And instead of feeling toward you, she loses respect. Now, here's the reality no person tells you. Tension is not your enemy. It is your superpower. Anxiety approach, there's real emotion in the second. Anxiety creates strength, chemistry, unpredictability. It makes her surprise who you are and what you may say subsequent. So, what does a strong guy do in that equal moment? He does not argue. He would not get defensive, but he would not fold both. He stands company with calm curiosity. He says, truly, what do not you like approximately it, or interesting? I was absolutely beginning to find it irresistible. What might make it higher for you? With simply one sentence, you hold your role. However, you furthermore MGHT invite her into the instant. You are now not seeking to win. You are showing that your opinion subjects, and you're now not terrified of a touch confrontation. That strength makes her experience something an awful lot deeper than simply being polite. It makes her experience challenged in a terrific way. It creates spark, thriller, a feel of emotional anxiety that most men are too scared to create. So, next time a lady disagrees with you, do not panic. Do not switch aspects. Do not give in just to make her such as you. Alternatively, breathe, smile, live grounded in your reality, and display her that confrontation does not shake you, because this is the type of guy she recollects. Actual examples that shift energy. Hermits now speak about a way to clearly speak in a way that attracts her in place of pushing her away, because most men do not understand this. It is now not simply what you are saying, it is how you start the electricity of the conversation. If you begin with boring, empty questions, you sound like every other man. However, if you start by sharing something real, you stand out straight away. Here's a common weak example. What do you do? Sounds regular, right? However, here's the problem. It places all of the paintings on her. It makes her experience like she's being interviewed again. Now do that rather. I am in design. I experience constructing matters that humans can truly sense. Stuff that creates and enjoy. What about you? What makes your paintings meaningful? Examine the shift. Now you're not just pulling statistics from her. You're presenting a chunk of your global first. You're displaying what you feel. You are displaying intensity, clarity, and ardor. And then you invite her to proportion her international too. This creates stability. Here's some other example. As opposed to asking, do you want this form of music? Attempt announcing, this music feels special at night. It is we're given that movie scene power like some things approximately to show up. Or perhaps I am just overthinking it. What is your vibe? It truly is actual energy. You are portray a photo. You're displaying your feelings, your mind, your mood. Now, she's not simply answering a question. She's joining a sense. That's the distinction between surface communicate and emotional connection. And right here's what subjects maximum. You're now not begging for her approval. You are now not asking just to get her interest. You are offering a doorway into your global. And while a lady looks like she's being invited into something precise, she would not just respond. She recalls you because you're not simply another guy asking questions. You're the man who makes her feel something. Tension equals emotion equals reminiscence. Here's one of the maximum essential truths, approximately attraction. A reality that most men by no means figure out. Appeal would not develop in comfort. It grows in anxiety. However, no longer simply any type of anxiety. It has to be the right type. Emotional tension that creates interest, play, and intensity. Now, right here's in which most men pass incorrect. They agree with if they're usually quality, well-mannered, agreeable, she'll like them more. They suppose that if they keep away from conflict, avoid assignment, avoid any war of words, it will make her experience secure. And sure, it'd make her sense secure, but secure would not mean desire. While the entirety is smooth and gentle, it will become forgettable. It feels flat, emotionless, predictable, and nobody recalls what is predictable. Actual enchantment comes from moments that make you feel something. Think about it. The maximum effective conversations you've had in life probably weren't the perfect ones. They had been the ones that had friction, anxiety, a twist you failed to see coming. Perhaps a disagreement, a second of vulnerability, something surprising that hit you emotionally. That's what sticks. Now follow that to your conversations with girls. If every phrase you assert is designed to be secure and authorized, you may be favored, however you'll in no way be remembered. Hermits take a simple second. She says, I hate this track. The average guy, he panics. He modifications his opinion instant. He says something like, oh yeah, I guess it's now not that excellent. Why? Due to the fact he does not want battle. He needs her to love him, although meaning losing his own opinion, but to her, that indicates weakness. It shows fear. It indicates that you may bend to hold her approval. Now, believe this as a substitute. You smile, cozy, and say, damn, you're difficult to electrify. I respect that. What else is on your blacklist? Suddenly, the entirety shifts. You failed to attack her, you didn't back down, you saved your cool and made it playful. That small spark of anxiety, it makes her chuckle. It maintains her curious. It makes her want to stay in the moment with you due to the fact now you sense actual. And that's the energy that creates emotional memory. It's rare to discover a guy who can disagree without becoming shielding. Even more rare to find person who does it with a smile, with play, and with grounded presence. That is what makes you interesting to talk to. That's what makes you unforgettable. So next time you feel that little spark of anxiety, don't run from it. Lean into it with charm, with calm, with self-belief, because it's not a trouble. It really is the entrance to choice. Adjusting intensity for specific women. Now, permits be clean. This does not mean you move full savage with every woman you meet. Not each situation needs excessive intensity, and not every woman will reply nicely to strong teasing or playful demanding situations, at least not proper away. This is where an actual talent comes in. A powerful man is not simply confident. He is conscious. He is aware of the way to examine the room. He can sense while to raise the energy and when to sluggish it down. Shall we embrace you are talking to a greater quiet or shy woman? She's calm, reserved, and smooth-spoken. In case you throw out an ambitious line like, "You're tough to affect," it might sense an excessive amount of for her. It could push her away. However, that does not mean you prevent being assured. You do not change the strategy, you adjust the transport. Here is a better manner to say it. I love what you want. It's uncommon to fulfill a person with a strong thoughts. Now you are saying the equal factor, however with warmth, with respect, with presence. You are still leading the verbal exchange. You're nevertheless showing energy, but you're making her feel secure inside the second in preference to challenge too quickly. This isn't always about being fake. It is approximately being clever. Due to the fact appeal is not pretty much what you say. It is about when you say it, the way you say it, and to whom you are saying it. It is not a one-size-fits-all sport. This is approach, that is timing, that is recognition. It's about feeling her vibe and responding with management, no longer manipulate. It is understanding when to use pressure and when to pull returned without dropping your strength. Whilst you start prevailing, don't crumble. That is in which most men fail. Proper after they begin to be successful, you lead the conversation with calm confidence. You create tension, electricity, and interest. She smiles, she laughs, she leans in. Maybe she touches your arm, performs with her hair, or gives you that look that says, "I'm into this." And to your thoughts, you watched, "This is it. We're given her, it's operating." But then something modifications. You forestall doing what we're given you here. You turn out to be too comfortable. You start relaxing your presence. You stop leading with purpose. And also you start trying to hold her interest in preference to preserve to deserve it. That is whilst the energy shifts. Suddenly, she doesn't laugh as a good deal. She appears at her smartphone. She pulls away no longer physically, but emotionally, and you're left wondering what just befell. Everything turned into going so nicely. Here's what occurred. You started out chasing the instant instead of leading it. You noticed the identical electricity that attracted her inside the starting, the presence, the self-belief, the emotional leadership. It's the equal strength you need to preserve bringing. Enchantment is like a fireplace. If you prevent feeding it, it doesn't live warm. It cools down fast. It's now not about being ideal. It's now not about being funny every second or mysterious all of the time. It's approximately staying present, staying grounded, persevering with to lead even after matters start going well. Due to the fact right here's something women experience nearly immediately, conditional self-assurance. She will tell if your confidence was handiest there to win her over. And now that you've obtained her interest, you've stopped showing up with electricity. And when that occurs, the attraction dies. So here's the guideline. While she gives you extra, you don't supply much less. You deliver more presence. You live centered, comfortable, however alert. Open, however nonetheless in control. Warm, however by no means weak. Girls do not simply want to feel suitable in the starting. They need to experience like the version of you that sparked their choice is the version of you that stays. It truly is the way you separate yourself from the rest. That is what keeps her coming again, the person she craves. In the end, this isn't always about clever hints. It is now not about knowing the correct phrases to mention. It's not even approximately being the nice searching guy within the room. It is approximately something deeper, something she doesn't even completely apprehend, however continually feels. It's about how your presence makes her sense. No longer via candy compliments, not through begging for her attention, however through your quiet strength. Because the fact is, she doesn't need a person who tries tough to impress her. She doesn't need a man who copies her opinions simply to be prevalent. She would not need a person who's usually available, constantly chasing, constantly afraid to lose her. She wants a man who's already complete on his very own. A man who's already dwelling a lifestyle that has direction. A man who has peace in his mind and reason in his coronary heart. A person who does not want to be liked because he already respects himself. That type of man is uncommon. That sort of strength is unforgettable. He speaks honestly, however, without trying to persuade anyone. He listens, however, doesn't fold. He can connect deeply, but in no way begs. He can lead not to govern her, but to ask her into something more potent than consolation. It really is the kind of man who remains in her reminiscence, not due to the fact he accompanied some relationship script, not due to the fact he advised her what she desired to listen, however, because he carried himself with electricity, calm, and quiet self-belief. So right here's your reminder. Prevent chasing approval. Stop expecting signs and symptoms which are proper enough. Prevent thinking you need to electrify her with words. Just display up, absolutely present. Communicate from an actual vicinity. Lead with calm strength and live grounded in who you are. Due to the fact while she feels that, when she feels your strength without vanity, your calm without worry, your interest without want, she will feel something actual, something deep, something that different men can't fake. And as soon as she feels that, no small talk, no gentle compliments, no needy interest can compete with you, you don't want to be ideal. You just want to be genuine and unshakably present. It really is the person she craves. This is the man you are here to end up. Very last phrases. If this video shifted something in you, in case you saw your old conduct definitely, and you're ready to guide with presence, no longer permission, then it is time to step into your subsequent degree. Hit that subscribe button so you do not omit the following video due to the fact we're going deeper into enchantment, strength, and emotional manipulate. The form of equipment no person teaches, but each guy needs. Tap like if this reduced through the noise and confirmed you something actual, and comment the word strength underneath. If you're achieved chasing and equipped to begin preserving body like a person who leads, now not follows. Because the fact is straightforward, you have been by no means supposed to beg for interest. You have been intended to come to be the source of it.